Are you ready to learn what red flags keep an eye out for when looking for love?
Then we got you covered. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the podcast where we unpack reality TV and call out the bullshit.
So that you show up confidently while dating and in relationships. Welcome to Ditch the Script.
I love it.
Hello.
Hey. Wow, that was fun.
That was so fun.
Yeah, we were doing a whole lot.
We're trying to make each other laugh. You got me a couple
Silently.
times.
Yeah, ditto. Back at you. Hey, here we are.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Howdy.
Hi. We have to acknowledge our absence a little bit and sort of explain what's been going on. So we tried to record our episode last week.
Retried so hard, guys. So hard. Like, we had multiple recordings. And it just, bad. The universe was saying, no, not today, guys.
Yeah. She struck down and she said, I'm going to need you to stop and just put it to bed. Also, like a big portion of contention for me was that we really thought that last week's Married at First Sight episode was the last one.
Okay.
And it fucking wasn't.
Okay, but let me just take some time because this isn't our motherfucking fault. The show said the finale was April 27th, did it not? Or 26th, whatever date that was. I think it was the 26th. Mm-hmm. Because it was one of my parents' birthdays. So, like, I feel like I have that ingrained in my mind. Mm-hmm. So, here's the deal. We looked this up, guys. We do our due diligence here on Ditch the Script. We have plans and
strict
dates
schedule
and calendar, color-coded calendar things. Yeah. And despite our best efforts, freaking Lifetime and the network just decides to throw us extra episodes here and there, everywhere. And because of that, we have to kick the can down the road.
Yeah, so there's two issues here. One, we thought that was supposed to be the last episode, so we tried to get on. We tried to cover it. We were a little frustrated because we were like, it's supposed to be decision day. Like, this
and
is...
it wasn't.
We were supposed to be done with it.
They lied.
And then, okay, so Alex and I, we shifted our schedule around a little bit. We're recording on Sundays. We're going to be uploading on Mondays. You can find our episodes coming to you live on Mondays now. And we're like, okay... Married at First Sight, last episode. You know what? Last week's recording, it was a fail. We're just going to smack them together, pile them on top, talk about Decision Day, and roll with it. What did we find? And what in the fuck did we find? We found out that Married at First Sight, the Decision Day episode, is out next Wednesday.
They lied to us again.
Again. I need to write a letter.
Yeah.
Immediately.
All of us and the Ditch the Script family, we need to write letters of complaints to Lifetime and say, stick to your freaking schedule so our podcast can remain relevant and on top of things and be done with this show. Because quite frankly, I'm ready to hear Alonjuan's bullshit excuse for why Katina's not good enough for him. That poor girl. Like.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's exactly what's going to happen. You nailed it.
Girl, you know what? Maybe we should make predictions. That'll be fun. Let's make predictions.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay,
we didn't plan this, but let's do it. Impromptu.
We'll add it. We'll add it to the calendar later. We'll color code it. Okay. Katina and Olajuwon, not happening.
Break up. Yep.
Break up.
Mark and Lindsay.
Breaking up.
I think they might stay together.
Really?
There's a part of me that they might, because of something Mark said. So I'm gonna have to look through my notes because he said something that was like,
yeah. Right, we'll come back to that.
Steve and Noy.
You know what? They're gonna stay together.
Okay, agreed.
You think so too?
I do. Jasmina and Michael.
Okay, this one hurts me because I think that they're gonna split up.
No, you do?
Yeah, yeah. I think that they're gonna split up. I think that you know what? We're gonna get into it.
I'm gonna say that I think they stay together.
Okay.
Just because I hope that's what I want.
I know. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
But I feel you. I know exactly why. I'm not. I'm projecting. I'm making my assumption your assumption, but my assumption is because Jasmina is going to be out because she's not feeling it in her nether regions.
Yeah, she's not feeling turned on. She's not feeling sparks. She's not feeling sex. She's just not feeling it. I think homegirl needs to fucking listen. I think she needs to loosen up and just
she needs
snog,
to fucking fuck.
Yeah, she needs a proper snog with her man and just like and reassess. Honestly, like I look at people in situations like this. I'm like, for the research and data alone, put some numbers on the board and let's reassess the game plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Our show today is going to look a little bit different because in our frustration with the fact that we still don't have the end of the fucking Married at First Sight season, we are going to recap Married at First Sight because we don't want to leave you hanging. We know that people are
We made a commitment.
We made a commitment. And if there's
there's
anything that we do, we follow through.
We follow yes, we do, because this is a relationship with you, and we are committed to seeing through the promises that we make. Which
That's
means
100%.
Since we know you're sitting on the edge of your seat, dying for this Married at First Sight, discussion, we're going to give it to you both this week and next week. And a capital A-N-D. We're really stoked to start Ultimatum in this episode.
Yeah. So Alex and I just came off of watching the first episode. We watched it this morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
And
for breakfast.
I held every fiber of my being wanted to watch the next episode. Every fiber of my being.
Me too.
And it's not what you think. It's not because this is just television gold, but it's just I got to know more about what's going on next because you and I, we have a lot of feelings.
My God, so many feelings. Yeah, this is going to be really hard for me to not binge. It's going to be really, maybe I will binge it and then just recap it each week before we record because I do like watching fresh before we record, but my natural state
is binge.
Yeah.
I know, me too. But however, think about it. If we binge, we're not going to be able to we're going to know too much way ahead of time.
Oh, so true. So I really can't. Okay.
We can't.
It's a good thing that I have really good self-control.
I don't, but it's going to make me learn.
Yeah,
it's going to make me learn.
For this show.
Yeah.
That was something Jordan and I talked about a while ago. He's like, I don't know what, you know what it probably is? Oh shit, this might be a trauma response. My ridiculous ability to have self-control might be from years of conservative, you will not think that way. You will not do this. So I've gotten really good at nope.
and then that being the bottom line.
Yeah. So,
funny.
Alex is going to sit with that to explore that a little bit. Maybe that's some trauma coming up there.
Yeah, Alex is going to get off this recording and immediately turn to her journal and just scroll away.
Yep.
I love it. I love, actually, it's underrated. I love learning new shit about myself and be like,
oh my God, yeah.
Oh, so this has been contributing to some of my, my habits, my quirks, my issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's
for a while
fascinating.
I was I think it's really fascinating too. And you know what? For a while I was like, you know what? Things seem too good for my perspective on myself. There's got to be something here. And then you know what? You start ticking away and it's been good for self-exploration because there have been some things, at least for me personally, that I've discovered that I really needed to work on that I was really really ignorant to. You know?
Yeah, well, I think we all are, and I look, awareness comes, I have this saying, I don't remember where I heard it, but the saying, new level, new devil, it's one that's commonly used.
Yeah.
But it's so true to every facet of life, but also trauma work. It's you make it over one hump of whatever you're targeting and trying to work on. And then you start to have this awareness of and curiosity really of oh, this thing that I do, let's tell me more about that. And, even with some stuff that I shared with you before we started recording from trauma school, going through it and looking at things from different lenses and angles and working with different personalities and people because that's another part of the course is I get to practice on my peers, which is so crazy and interesting.
Nice. It's cool.
But I've had new awareness of myself, and I've been doing this work for quite some time. So, you know, we need to understand that growth is eternal. And when we can get rid of the shame and just get curious about like, I wonder what that's about. Like, let's explore that. It becomes more like a personal development great game than it is this like shameful, like, oh my God, I'm such a screw up because of blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Because that latter line of thinking will get you nowhere.
Oh yeah. Well, it'll bring you to a deeper, darker.
Yeah. It won't get you to a good place.
Yeah. Like, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because like, I think that it's not about uncovering maladaptive habits, I'll say, because for the purpose of tearing oneself down. It's like,
right.
What are the things that I'm typically not privy to that actually contribute to some of the conflicts that I experience and some of the miscommunications that I have in my interpersonal relationships? Like, what responsibility do I hold? And the ability to be curious and non-judgmental is really like the difference of like building yourself up because of it versus tearing yourself down because of it.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Weird tangent.
I feel like it was a valuable tangent.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
right.
Listen, we support self-improvement. Okay, so before we get into our MAFS recap and our Ultimatum episode 1 recap, I wanted to share probably like one of the best first dates that I've had in like a long time.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for this. Yay!
Alex over here, she just wants to talk about boys. She wants to talk about boys, baby. I know, me too. It's so fun. And this is honestly less about the person. Although like the fact that the first date was really good is like, has a lot to do with him. But I really want to just talk about like what happened.
Okay. I'm here for it.
We met up at this bar, and it's like first date, Bumble date.
Okay.
I met up at this bar, good chats, comfy, easy. Didn't feel like there was a whole lot of guards up on either side. Like two people that very much were just like showing up as themselves. Yeah. That either is going to make you be very aware of this person not being a good fit for you very quickly, or the latter where you're like vibing. So we were vibing, and he was like, there's this place that I go to nearby that turns into a karaoke spot on Fridays and Sunday nights. And he was like, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I mean, this is a perfect time to let you know that I love karaoke. And I'm usually the person that's like trying to drag my friends to karaoke, because I think it's like,
I know we've talked about this in Vegas.
Yeah. Yes. It's like the best, most silliest time. And I'm not a good singer. It's not because I'm like, I can't wait to perform. It's like, I love the vibes that karaoke brings. Like everyone's in a silly mood.
You know what? When I come to Florida to visit you, we're going to do that. Because Alex needs to get over this fear. Like, I've never done it. Yeah, because my perfectionist self is so strong. So we're doing it.
I know. You'd probably get up there and have like a Coyote Ugly moment where she's like trying to sing her like written song, and she just shakes and leaves and throws up.
I haven't seen Coyote Ugly, so I'm missing the reference. But
girl,
I feel like I'm gonna get on up there and do like a full performance, like Beyonce level dance. I feel like it's just gonna turn into an improvisation.
People would love that. That's what the audience wants. They're gonna eat that up. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I think I'll do like, Oops, I Did It Again. I think that's my staple. It's classic.
So I gotta take you to this place. First of all, I already told this man, I was like, listen, I'm co-opting this space. Like, I'm taking it.
Let's go.
Thank you for showing it to me. I am taking it as mine. Now it's mine. It is divey with like a capital D.
Okay.
And the I think for the purpose of like karaoke, you can't take yourself seriously. So it is like a good challenging moment of that. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Okay, great.
I had this I had this moment where I'm like, okay, I'm on this date, brand new person, again, feeling comfortable, but like comfortable to the point where I'm gonna get up there on my own and do a song. I don't know. So, but I also was like, I'm at this karaoke spot. I'm not getting up there. There's no way I came to the karaoke bar and I'm going to stay.
Did he go with you?
Off the
Wait,
stage.
I need to hear this. Oh my God.
I told him, I said, we're going to have to do a song together. We're going to have to do a song together. And he was like, bet, like, let's go.
Oh my God.
So,
I love it. Oh my God. Yes. Fuck
what
yes.
I didn't appreciate, and I learned once I got there, is that this man comes here a lot. He comes here a lot, and he, like, there was a woman that was there that was like 30 years our senior, and she recognized him, and she was like, oh, I've seen you here before. And he was like, oh my God, a fan. But really also she came over to us. She goes, you were here with another girl.
Oh.
Like the other weekend. And he was like, lady, don't do that right now. Like, what are you trying to do? And everyone's sort of searching their eyes. Yeah, she was not the wing woman move that he probably was like, oh my God, she recognized me. I'm a local celebrity. Then all of a sudden it was like, girl, cut the shit. Everyone's sort of scanning my eyes to be like, is she going to be upset? Is she going to brawl right now? We did not.
How did you respond
anyway,
to that? Wait, no, wait, pause. Pump the brakes.
Oh.
How did you respond?
Is like, to me,
this could go either way.
Yeah, to me, I was like, that's funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
like this is your
realistically,
spot.
Yeah, first of all, this is your spot. Also, I don't, like, you know this. I don't know if anyone else that knows this, but, like, I have confidence to spare. So for me, I'm like, listen, if you take girls here all the time, that's cool. But, like, if we end
how
up
many
having
girls
a good
are
time,
like, you're singing with
we're
me.
getting up there together. Yeah, exactly. That's sort of how I was feeling. And also, this woman was like, you're much friendlier. And I was like, please tell me more. Also, like, let's not put other women down, but like, yeah, like, let me know why I'm great in front of this guy that I'm on a first date with. That's a really good. She became my wing woman in that moment.
Hey.
So anyway, yeah, I had a moment where I was like, do I care about this? And I was like, no, I've known him for 5 minutes. How could I care? So,
Good
anyway,
for you.
yeah. So I was like, cool. What are we going to do? We're trying to figure it out. We settled on Through the Wire by Kanye West.
Great.
So we get up there. Mm-hmm. We are rapping. We're singing. I think the funniest part of this for me was like we get off and people were like, you guys were great. First of all, we were not great. We were like a solid okay.
Did you take turn on the verses? Like, was it a back and forth or did you sing the whole thing together?
You know, we talked about that, but we did it together and I sang the chorus, the Shaka Khan chorus between, which there were no lyrics provided for. So I was up there winging it. I was winging it off of memory.
Oh my God,
anyway,
I love it. That brought up a memory of you and I, but that's a story for another day.
Where did we go? What did we do?
Shaka Khan in Patty Obie's jazz class at BBT. I was like, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. Yeah, the old school one. But anyway.
Yeah, that's right. I guess, like, anyway, it was a good time. We came off and he was like, do you think that was good? I was like, does it matter?
Yeah, yes.
Do we care?
Love that
Did
response.
we care? We had a good time. And then 10 minutes later, this girl like threw up like at our feet, right in front of us.
The 60-year-old woman?
No, much younger, like she was just, everyone was hammered there. That's my thing. Okay, here's my thing about karaoke. This story has gotten away from me. The thing about karaoke is that, like, I know that it's scary to get up there and it's nerve-wracking and everything in your body and your cells are like, don't do this. But you have to remember that people are either wasted or they love this.
Right.
And so they love it with you.
Yeah. I've envisioned doing it so many times and then never did it. I never thought of doing it with a friend, though. I feel like I could totally do it with a friend.
Yeah,
Easy.
like you would get up there with me, right?
Oh, totally. But then I need to work on the fear of just doing it myself. Because it's like I used to do that. So, like, what's the deal?
Singing is vulnerable.
I guess it is. Like, I used to be
dancing
in a
is not as
band, so
vulnerable.
like, come on, you know? So
Well,
it's
maybe,
like,
do you feel like it was because you had other people around you?
maybe, yeah. Yeah, I'm not like
Yeah.
a solo artist. I'm not up there
Yeah.
like Lady Gaga on her own, you know?
Just Keever.
Just Keever. If I ever start my own album.
It's called Just Keever.
No, actually, I don't really identify with my last name anymore. I
I
should
know
probably
you
go
don't.
change it. I know it's
Well,
weird.
I know that's why I don't use it on here because it's like it would redirect people away from your socials.
Like, who are you? Alex
Who
Scott,
are you?
people. That's who
Alex
I
Scott.
motherfucking am. Alex
Yeah.
Scott. All right,
Just
but
Alex.
wait.
All right.
Keep going, keep going. So we digressed. I still need to hear about this guy. What happened next?
But the story pretty much ends with vomit. Someone else's.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone puked. It just sort of like wrapped up that this place was like perfectly trashy and like horrible. I think just to sum it up, I guess, like if I was having a really good time, like to be able to like go do something that was like a little scary, a little vulnerable with a person I just met, either like this is the opportunity to meet someone that you like connect with that's very cool, or we're going to be homies.
Right.
You know?
Totally.
So I was grateful. I was grateful to find out about the spot. I was grateful to find out about the karaoke schedule in particular. I was grateful to find out that I was in the company of a local celebrity. I was grateful to find out that like you could vomit at this bar and not get kicked out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a great gratitude list.
Yeah, I feel really grateful.
Solid. Solid list.
Yeah. So more. It was fun. Like spontaneity on a first date is not always like guaranteed, nor is it expected.
True.
So I think like if you find yourself and let's say you're in like a dating rut, right? And the idea of like getting on another date sounds horrible. Like I think what I've been trying to do lately is just try to have as much fun as possible because life's too fucking short and who fucking cares?
So
Who cares?
true. Yeah. Like seriously, we get in our own way with dating so much. And it's like, if we could just I was talking to someone about this on Reddit last night because they were complaining about how, you know, their dating app matches are like so hit or miss. And this guy, I'm assuming it's a guy, which is total, like not okay. Reddit's anonymous, but this person said
They didn't specify.
They didn't specify, but this person literally said, I have the aim of a stormtrooper on dating apps, and that's a Star Wars joke, and I died laughing, and I was like, see, if someone said that to me on a dating app, I would be like, we gotta go on a date, like, I gotta meet you just because of the reference, you know what I mean? So it's like, when we get out of our own way and make our, like, jokes like that, or go to karaoke bars, because we're just more focused on, like, being our authentic selves and having fun in the ways that we like to have fun, it establishes connections so much more quickly and actually like brings clarity on like, are you a fit for me or not?
Right.
You know?
That's true. That's really interesting. You said that. I actually spoke to this person on the app, like almost not at all. Like it was like quick back and forth, a little banter, planned a meetup. I'd recommend that for people. Because the apps are supposed to get you like to meet someone, not necessarily like to
have a pen pal.
Like exactly. And you don't need to find out if this person is like a perfect match for you before you meet up. Like allow yourself to go on the date and then see how you feel. But having even that been said, like the difference between like getting coffee or a drink for 2 hours and just like talking about what you're up to and what your hobbies are, like that still is a good way to get to know someone. But I think having like a shared experience or like sort of like getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, like I actually got more exposure to what this person actually is like out in the world, which for me is really valuable.
Huge.
Than I would have if we just like stayed at that first bar and just like kept chatting.
There's actually science that proves what you're saying. Like activity dates are the best way to start a relationship or at least explore the connection because one, it takes the pressure off. They call it side-by-side activities. So like when you're shoulder to shoulder and you're not like in this interview, like across the table, takes the pressure off. And then two, exactly what you just said, you're able to see how they interact in the world with other people in that kind of setting, instead of it being like one-on-one. And it's way easier for people to pretend to be some kind of way if you're just one-on-one, or they clam up and then they can't even be their true selves because they're so nervous. So it's like activities are where it's at.
Yeah, totally. For me, it's
like, you're right.
It's really important to get to see how people are, how people navigate the world. Because like you could show up. I mean, how many times have we're love bombed, or people like put themselves in this very specific kind of light because they are hoping to have a certain kind of interaction with you, whether it leads to a physical escalation or like whatever the case may be, they just want to spend more of your time. Then you can very carefully curate a version of yourself. But when you're like doing something together, you can see how they get frustrated. You can see what sort of lights them up. You can see the things that they miss, they don't care about. You can see how they treat
other people,
the people that work at the establishment. Like my mom has this saying that she co-opted from her grandmother. That's like, you can tell a lot about a man with how he behaves on a golf course. Which is basically like put someone in a competitive state and then see how they react to loss, because golf is notoriously difficult. So it's like, and you see someone slamming a club on the green like an absolute fucking maniac, that might save some of your time if that's a turn off.
They may have anger issues, they might not have a healthy relationship with expressing their emotions.
Or golf.
Golf.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I completely agree.
Thanks for letting me rattle on about that.
Yeah. I was here for it. I loved every second of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get on. Let's do it. Let's get on with the show.
You know what I'm realizing about Married at First Sight is that I know that there's probably some couples that like are successful through this, but I'm going to be honest that all of the pressure that comes with having to be married at the onset of a relationship, I think is actually setting all of them up for failure.
And cohabitating.
General yeah, it's, think about it. If you're on a date and it's too much pressure for one or both of you to hear, I want to be in a relationship really soon, I want to start having family really soon, like that's going to scare someone, even if those are things that they also want. So to be getting to know each other in like a space where you're so committed that you're married and you're already living with each other and you already really need to figure out like how to work through conflict as brand new people to one another.
Yeah.
I just don't see how that really it's working.
Look, this is why, you want to talk about science really quick and how freaking humans are wired and the reality of it? I'm going to keep this short and sweet. If you went on a first date with anyone and saw all their flaws, no one would be our human species would cease to exist. No one is going to go meet someone and talk about, I speak contemptuously to my partner, I have anger issues, I yell a lot, I slam doors, I never show up on time, I struggle with words of affirmation. Like, then you would never be with anybody. And the reason that relationships even happen and that our species continues to exist is because of being able to have this experience of love and these feelings, which help us buy into a person regardless of their weaknesses. You can't have relationships without both. And yet what comes first is the loving-dovey oxytocin side of the equation, because if it was reversed, which it kind of is in Married at First Sight, because you see everyone's flaws so quickly because of the environment they're in. Yeah. It's way harder to buy into the partnership.
Right.
So.
Right. And I think I'm really glad that you said that. This is different than separately like culturally relevant arranged marriages, because with Married at First Sight, there is like a deadline to figure it out. First of all, there's camera crews and people, producers,
and lots of
following you
alcohol.
around. Lots of alcohol, lots of scheduled chats, and they want to see the blow-ups. But there's this pressure to know how you feel going forward after 8 weeks of marriage. When you're in an arranged marriage, like, there is no deadline. That's your boo. That's your boo for life. You're going to figure it out. You have 8 weeks and then some to figure out how to get to know each other. And, yeah, exactly. We hope to get through towards all of the things that all of the challenges that you're going to face. So it's not even just that you're meeting someone, you're starting to date as soon as you get married and you're living together. We obviously see that happen, but it's this added pressure of, like, it's like bookmarks. It's like you're meeting, marriage, flaws, immediately red flags. And then it's like, and they might not choose to continue to be here with you.
Yeah.
That's scary.
And because of piggybacking off of that, just to articulate this point, because I feel like this is part of what you're trying to say, and I just want to like pull it out.
Let's drive it home.
So when we have this 8-week deadline, because the other person, and we talked about this a lot throughout Married at First Sight, because the other person is waiting to figure out, how do you feel about me before I fully invest in you. And not everyone's doing this. Michael's not doing it. Steve's not doing it. But Lindsay, Mark, absolutely. It's like they're waiting for the other person to buy in to then truly be vulnerable and invest in the relationship because of the deadline. Whereas if that wasn't a thing, they would be forced to, both of them have to show up and actually be vulnerable to get through the shit they're going through. But because of the deadline, and it's like, well, I have 8 weeks to figure out how I feel about you and you feel about me, and I'm waiting to see your cards before I show you mine. It's
exactly.
Nah.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're always waiting for the other person to fix their shit, be vulnerable first, to always lead, you will never be in a healthy long-term relationship, because it forces the other person to do it for you every single time. Well, you can't be like that.
You're still protecting yourself. You're still guarding yourself, right? You're not letting yourself fully open up and be like, you know what, to get hurt, be damned. Like, cards on the table. This is how I move. This is what I want. This is where I struggle. This is where I'm noticing that you're struggle. Like, let's figure it out. I think with the 8-week mark of decision day, so to speak, like, we get it. This is the whole show. Like, it's not why they're not making the show to, like, drive home messages that we're trying to arm people with. But I think when you have this opportunity to be like, okay, and this is when I get to leave if I choose, we still are giving people an opportunity to fall back on shitty patterns of behavior of the escape route.
Escape, man.
Escape.
They are all trying. Don't do it. I mean, like, do it if that's what you want, but you won't know if that's what you want if you aren't vulnerable to explore it fully. And that's the point Brie and I are trying to make. It's like, you won't ever know if the relationship is for you or not if you constantly establish relationships with a wall up.
Ooh. You know what? This actually relates a lot to the Ultimatum, the first episode that we saw. Yeah. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there when we get there. But all right, let's run through these couples. Okay, so just generally, like, the last episode that we did see, which was the second and last episode and not decision day, it's like the final, it's the final evenings and mornings before decision made has happened. And then, like, they're having, like, their last big serious talks together. They spend the night separately, and you get a feel for how it's interesting to see how they're talking to each other about how they feel about their relationships, and then how they talk about their relationships separately when they are privately confiding in the, like, interviews with the producers, or when they're connecting with a friend or a loved one. Like, I feel like that duality actually, to me, makes it very clear. Why those moments sort of informed me why I feel like some people are going to stay and some people are going to want to go.
Totally. I get that. All right. So who are we starting with?
Let's start with Steve and Noy.
Steve and Noy.
Karaoke girl. We're going to get you there.
It's going to happen.
You know what we could do? We could get Steve's track from high school. Bring it to the karaoke
His
spot.
rap, yeah.
Yo, I'm absolutely fucking bringing you to the belly of the beast.
Let's go.
When you,
Is that what it's called?
It's called Swamp Belly. Swamp Belly.
Oh my God, what a Florida bar.
Dude, this is the most Florida shit that I have ever seen.
Oh, jeez. That is
I'm obsessed with
on
it.
point. Okay.
I'm obsessed with it. Yeah, I'm going to bring you... I've just been calling it the belly of the beast.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Crazy.
We're going to go out.
Okay.
It's going to be a vibe. That whole week.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite... It's going to be a week.
Is it going to be a week?
Yeah, because I haven't told you what my plans are for us.
What are they?
Well, we got to go to Tijuana
we're going to go to Boca.
and we got it.
Yeah,
and Disney. I don't really care about Boca anymore. I'm kind of over it.
Oh, you didn't want to do like a home tour? No, just Tijuana.
Except the food. We can go down there to go to Casa Maya.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you want to go to Cheeseburger?
I think they closed, babe.
Oh, those were so good.
The onion rings, man. They were beer battered. That's why.
Okay. I'm not saying that we need to go hang around Boca. Like, let's not revisit
food tour.
our
We'll do
trauma.
a food tour of Boca.
Food tour of Boca.
I don't know. Maybe we should. You know, instead of running through the backyard to jump in the canal, maybe we went through the backyard with Sage.
For our healing.
For our healing in someone else's home. I lived here when I was young.
I'm making a clip of this whole conversation. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So anyway, Stephen Noy.
Stephen Noy. So, Steve's shopping for a ring for he wants to update Noy's wedding ring.
Yep.
Generally the vibe that I'm getting is that Steve is really committed. I mean, I think that he's very aware of the flaws that their relationship has. He's now fully aware of the things that Noy is concerned about regarding his income. I'm really glad that those things are on the table. I'm really glad that those conversations have started because I do think that they are an actual representation of what it could look like for two people who don't have it all figured out, but can continue to invest in the time to work through some of these issues. So the vibe that I get from them is that we don't have it all sorted before 8 weeks, before decision day, but we're going to have to pick up where these things left off once the show wraps. However, I don't really know if Noy feels the same way.
Yeah, she's an interesting one to read because she was on the honeymoon, if you guys remember, she said, I'm falling in love with you. She was the first one. She was out there. She was ready for it. And now she's backpedaling and she's no, what about this? What about this? Right. Exactly. So I am with you. I don't know. I really struggled to kind of get into her mind of what's other than the obvious, which is because of her own stuff. She's finding it very difficult for her to fully buy into Steve and the marriage on the whole, because she's but what about this little problem? And what about this little problem? And what about this little problem? And, she really, and I'm glad that they're starting to talk about these things more and more in depth, especially around her wanting to live in her studio when the show wraps and all of that. But I don't know if they have a conversation around what is the plan? What is the actual action steps that we're going to take when the show wraps? And what's the timeline?
Yeah.
And I think they need a tangible conversation. They've had a feelings conversation. Now they need a tangible one.
I totally agree. I think they need to put, we've talked about this in the past, and I'm going to bring it back up because I think it's a really useful tool to apply here. It's important, it's valid to have concerns. It's valid to have strong feelings, even in a positive sense of I really see this going well. Get together to create an IRL plan. What does that look like?
Yeah.
What things do we both need for this to continue to go well? How do we actually create the life that we think could serve both of us and this relationship? And I think being able to apply that lens of, okay, it's great that we have these goals, or it's good that we're noticing the issues that we have between us. What does it look like to work on these things in real time? There's nothing wrong with sitting down and making a fucking game plan.
Yeah.
It's hard to do though, so. I guess it can be like pretty emotionally charged, especially if some of it's triggering, like it has been for Noi with financial stuff.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. And I really wish that they leaned on the experts more to navigate all of these conversations. I really want to know what the rules of engagement are with the experts, because they all come in at the same calculated time to all the couples. So I'm like, is this on the show schedule? Because I feel like in the past I've seen them go through rough spots and then the experts would come. So I thought they could call, do like a Hail Mary, we need an expert to come in and help us with this, but maybe not.
I think if one of them was like, I really need to talk to Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Like, big caller.
Yeah.
But
because there's a few things that, Steve brings up. I'm not comfortable asking you for things, Noi, as you are comfortable asking things of me. And that's an issue because Steve needs to feel safe speaking up for his needs and what he wants in the relationship. And he does a very good job of hearing her and her needs and desires for the relationship. And then she has this moment where she gets annoyed that he's asking things to be 50-50. And she uses the term, you keep counting. She literally says, like, you keep counting things, like who's cooking, who's cleaning. So she's alluding to him scorekeeping. But I feel that that's an unfair thing for her to say, because if he's taking care of your dog, cooking, cleaning, doing all of that, and you're working, you both still need to meet in the middle, and he's just asking for you to clean a toilet, and if he gets a job, you absolutely will need for things to be 50-50. He can't still do everything and have a full-time job. So, I'm just concerned because I feel like that's something that they need to navigate and talk through, but I feel that an expert would help them actually get there.
Because
it
really
took them
hard time doing it themselves.
Yeah, how long did it take them to sit down with a spreadsheet and a laptop? Like, we were screaming through the void of doing that for like a month. Yeah. And then they finally did it. So I feel that they need to get better about having the feelings talk, having the planning tangible talk in a cadence, because they miss out on the second half, and then they just repeat the feelings talk over and over and over again.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Every single one of these couples, should they choose to stay together, they need to go get a therapist and stay in work with each other. They would benefit from like weekly or bi-weekly support.
Completely agreed.
Like, this is what we noticed on the show. These are the things that we probably still need help with because we're still new to each other, and we want to make this work. Going to therapy means we want to make this work. We want to figure it out.
Yep.
Hey, you have anything else on them?
No.
Cool.
Moving on.
Let's talk about Mark and Lindsay.
Okay.
Hey.
Is that a bad sign or what? We're both sighing before we even begin.
Yeah. What stands out to me that's actually like, to me, they're having the same conversation, the same thoughts, like all the fucking time. What stands out to me is that I think that both of them resent each other a whole lot at this point and really just don't want to be in the relationship. What stands out to me about Mark, which actually has nothing to do with Lindsay, is that he is so nostalgic for his childhood.
I know.
It's really hard for him to, like, I'm not mad at him for, like, loving his childhood. I just want to see him do something with that that serves the version of him that exists as an adult now who's, like, looking to have a family. And instead of saying, I want to recreate my childhood by moving into this house, moving into this apartment. For a while, he was asking Lindsay to like move into the house that he grew up in. And then they some big stuff went down with his mom. She had to move out of the apartment that she was in. It seemed like there was a lot of clutter, things that they needed to clean out for like safety reasons. They cleaned it all out. Mind you, it's really important to note that Lindsay has been in the trenches. Same when they needed to clear out the bed bugs for his own apartment.
Yeah.
Like a hazmat suit, bags, gloves on, committed, sweat, tears, the whole nine. Like she's fully in it with like what seems like zero complaints. then he's like, the house is cleaned up, the apartment's cleaned up rather, like, I want us to move in here. And Lindsay's like, I want us to create a life that could be as happy as your childhood, but somewhere else, because I can't go backwards. And I really get that.
Me too. Yeah. I feel like, you know, and they taught, and I feel like she did a really good way of articulating this, because what ends up happening is Mark actually does a super romantic dinner in this home, makes it nice, like puts these lights up. Lindsay really appreciates it because, like, this is Mark showing her he loves her, or at least cares about her, right?
Yeah. Appreciation.
But when
sure.
she's there, you know, Lindsay's like, I'm fine with us moving here, but I want to put my touch on it. Like, give me a $500 budget. And she starts describing, like, I want to paint the cabinets. I want to do this. And Mark says, like, I want to keep it, you know, I want to keep my mom and grandma in here somewhere. And so she maturely says, like, let's agree to disagree tonight, because they didn't want to fight. And I thought that was like a huge win for them as a couple, because they just put it down. Instead, and they were like,
same thing.
Yeah, because old Mark and Lindsay would have been so hyper focused on, like, we're disagreeing right now and I need to make you agree with me. And instead they were just like, let's just enjoy tonight. Let's agree to disagree on this.
And they did.
And they did. And they put it down and they had a great rest of their evening. But I absolutely see where Lindsay's coming from. I think it's unrealistic to have a partner move into a space that you are familiar with and not allow them to establish a sense of themselves in that space. It feels so alienating. It's like, she needs to be able to have her artwork where she wants it and her plants. And, like, you know, yes, we can of course keep your family here. She's not saying I don't want a semblance of your mom or grandma in this house. She's just saying, how can we take this and make it ours and still have that essence of them here for you, right? Yeah. And I feel that that's a beautiful way to compromise, but that's what's needed on Mark's end, is for him to be open to her painting the cabinets, redoing the floors, and whatever else she wants to do.
Is there going to be room for me?
Right. And she's been feeling that this entire time. She's been, like, emotionally, mentally, physically, like, she's made those comments, like, can you make room for me in your life in all these areas? And it's been really hard for Mark. Now, I want to chat with you about something that Lindsay talks about with her girlfriend, because I was like, oh shoot, great point, I've never thought about that before. And I started like thinking, have I ever dated an only child? Because she mentions how to her girlfriend, like, Mark's an only child and she feels that it inhibits his ability to be adaptable, to be open to new things, because he's always had it his way. And I'm wondering, like, how do you feel about that? Like, what are your thoughts? Because I can see that playing out. I just don't know if it's because he's an only child or other things. See what I'm saying?
You know, I know exactly what you're saying. It's possible that this is Mark and his experience as an only child has made it challenging. Let me rephrase this. Has limited his experience in which he has had to be adaptable with, like, his environment, his, like, you know, he clearly had to adapt to a lot of whatever changes happened with his family over the last couple of years. So we know that he's able to adapt and, like, regroup and transition. Maybe not in a way that he enjoys it, but he does it. But maybe he, like, as a kid, he didn't have to, like, share, adapt, change with someone else who was, like, also in his world, like his level. So, but what I also know a number of only children, like, one of my closest friends is an only child, and she's really good at sharing her life and has made lots of changes with her partner, who she's been with for a really long time, to, like, make it work. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know if that's totally fair to put that on all only children. I think that they get, like, a pretty bad rap where they're just, like, selfish, spoiled, like, don't know how to compromise. So it's possible that it's shared with some of his experience, but also I think that this is just, like, Mark.
I think he romanticizes his past a lot.
Yeah.
And, like, because obviously he's stuck there and, like, wants to bring that part forward in his own life, you know, bringing his childhood into his current life. And I don't feel like that's super healthy, because I'm wondering, you know, I don't know. I would just be really interested to talk to Mark about what his childhood was like in more depth, because I have a feeling that whatever he's holding on to from his childhood, it's a defense mechanism. And that is holding him back with fully opening up and making room for long-term love in his current life.
Totally.
So whether it's like a childhood wound of like, you know, it could be a million different things. And I don't have enough information about his childhood to make an educated guess. But I'm trying to figure out every second that I see Mark now. It's like, what is it about your childhood that you, because when he talks about it, he's like, you know, my mom used to yell at my dad, like, don't wave. People don't want you to wave at them. So it's like, what are you romanticizing? Like, what about that has you holding on to that aspect of your life?
I remember from the first episode when we got introduced to all of the couples, that Mark immediately started talking about his, like, what he wants in a marriage and a family life is pretty similar to what he grew up with. He has a lot of happy memories from his childhood. It seems that there's obviously some stuff that went down that was pretty volatile, but maybe it's the pieces of it. I mean, we know that you can exist and you can have happy memories with a family, but it can also be volatile and change on a dime. And I wonder if out of self-preservation, he's holding on to the happiest memories to push back the things that are the hardest. If I was working with someone that is relating to his past the way that Mark is, I would want to know, like, let's talk about it. What are all of the best things about your growing up experience, your childhood, the things that you really want to recreate? What are those things? And okay, now here we are. You're 40. We're in a modern day situation. We're introduced to modern day relationships. How, like, what does it look like to, like, bring that essence of that happiness? Like, how do we remix that into how it could apply to your life now? Because I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be achieved through moving into the same walls.
No.
Like, it doesn't, your childhood wasn't as good as you remember it because of the place where it was.
Right.
It's just not. Like, was it that your mom made you feel good? Is it that she read you stories? Like, those are the things
chocolate
that you can bring
cookies
into your life. Yeah, like, you can bring that essence wherever you are.
Yeah, I love cookies.
That's my point.
That's the way to Alex's heart.
Bitch, me
Half-baked
too.
chocolate chip cookies. Oh my God. With like a glass of milk.
Wow. That's a nurturing fucking move. You want to make someone feel like this is wifey material? Bake some cookies.
Dude, cookie in a mug? Oh my God. It's
cookie
my vibe
in a mug.
on my nights. Yeah.
Like you make it in the microwave.
Sometimes, yeah, if I'm really lazy, oh my God, I'll just get cookie dough and I'll plop a couple, like one or two in the mug and put it in there for like 27 seconds.
Does that
approximately?
work?
Oh my God, yeah. Hell yeah.
I've never done it.
Me? It's so great for like a quick, like, to, you know, satisfy that craving.
Yeah, because if you go make the whole thing, then you got to go eat the whole thing. And it's like a tummy ache waiting to happen.
Dude, it's so comforting for me. I'm not even kidding. Like that in
I know
my
you're
bath.
not.
Those are.
Do you put? Okay, wait. Quick.
No, not all at once.
Pause.
If that's the next.
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. How about? I don't know if this is a hot take or not. Clearly, I'm new to like the cookie in the mug thing. If I put cookie dough in a mug and I microwave it for 27 seconds, is it revolutionary to then like pour cold milk into that same mug with that now baked cookie?
Ooh, I'm sure you could do it. It would be like a warm, cool, like, you know, you would have to eat it before, if you wanted the warmth.
Immediately.
Yeah. But I just like to have, usually if I do cookie in a mug, I don't always have a glass of milk, but if I bake the cookie, then I'll have, you know, I'll dunk it in the milk.
Dunk it.
But
so classic.
Sometimes, I've never done that. Maybe I should try it just to report back on the experiment, like KY jelly.
For research. Yeah.
All right. If you're wondering what the KY jelly experiment is, then you need to go listen to our very first two episodes, and
we're not gonna rehash it here.
No,
yeah.
No,
real ones only.
Yeah. Okay, who's next?
Okay, let's talk about Jasmina and Mike, then we'll get to Katina and Olajuwon.
Okay. Yeah. I love
Jasmine,
Michael.
I love him too. I think he's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want them to work out so bad. But Jasmina's really in her head about not being, like, not wanting to jump his bones. And, you know, this is the conundrum for these two because other aspects of their relationship are progressing so well. And, you know,
Yeah.
that's where they're at. Like, there's not much to report on this couple.
No,
there really isn't.
not. If we had to plot on a chart how their relationship has grown, what we would see is that they have the ability for this relationship to continue to develop at like great heights.
Yeah.
And it would probably be, it probably already is the healthiest relationship that either of them have had to date.
Yeah.
That's my
Agreed.
guesstimation. I wish that I could, if perspective could be shared with goggles, I wish Jasmina could take hers off and I could put them on because I want to feel what she's not feeling. Like,
I get that.
I mentioned this like a couple of weeks back because we've been talking about this forever because it's really like, it's the only thing that they've got left that's holding them back from getting on a rocket ship to healthy relationship moon.
Yeah.
Like the thing that I wonder is this like when you go on a date with a great person and you think the world of them, but you just don't want to fucking bone them? Is that it? Is it that simple?
I mean, I feel like they owe it to themselves to at least try. It's been 8 weeks.
Stick it in.
Yeah, like is that really inconsiderate of me to say? Like, honestly, because I hear Jasmina and I'm never, like you said, like I don't want to tell her to get rid of her boundaries or to like do something she's not comfortable with. And at the same time, I do wonder if they would just make out or just bone, if they would be like, oh my God, whoa, what have I been missing out on these last 8 weeks? Like, holy shit, you know? Because
Friends
it's like...
fuck. Friends
yeah.
fuck.
So it's like, oh my God, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of a coworker who's like in this
fucking
situation.
their friend?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
but
friends
yeah,
fuck.
it's
I
like
might fuck my karaoke friend. I don't know. I'll report back.
okay, I want to hear about it. But yeah, it's
Friends
like
fuck.
I do. I want to know.
Yeah,
Like,
I want to know what it is.
because you guys have been so great. You've established like that the fact that you can grow together as a team, you know? So what do you have to lose? Like the worst thing that could happen is you try and kiss or fuck and it's not great and or it feels icky and then you know. And then you can put this to bed. Right?
This didn't work. Totally.
So I'm team put it in.
Because until then, and like, again, like you're saying, like we've said already, like if you don't want to do it and nothing about you in your body is saying like, let me move closer towards this person, let me like play with the idea of like building that physical intimacy, then don't do it. I get that.
Right.
I just also, I think until then, what it seems like is that Jasmina is engaging in her own defense mechanism here, which is like guard up, guard up, guard up, guard up, because I don't know, maybe this is scary for her that it's good and feels so familiar.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And I try and say this all the time with my content. I feel like I need to say it even more and more blatantly. It's like, if you haven't had a healthy relationship before, a healthy relationship when you finally do get in one or meet a healthy partner is not going to feel the same as all your past relationships. It's just not. It's going to feel it's going to feel more boring. Full transparency, if you're used to chaos, it's going to feel way more calm and less anxiety inducing and kind of like, should we be fighting more? Why isn't there more drama? Does this mean we don't care? Does this mean there's a lack of passion or chemistry? And the answer is no. It means that your nervous system is just like, what is this?
Regulated.
I don't know what this is. Yeah, it means your nervous system's regulated and you're not used to being in a regulated state. So, and I feel like that's what Jasmine is struggling with, is she's like, there's, you know, I don't feel this passion, I don't feel this chemistry, this heat. And it's like, but what are you equating that to? Is my question for her. It's like, what is the expectation?
Totally. That's a question that we're missing. I wish that they were intervened with the experts and she could just be like, listen, this is my last barrier. They really should have had one more.
Lifetime should have hired us.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We would kill it and we'd be way more entertaining.
We would have had this wrapped up after 4 episodes.
Yeah.
4 episodes.
Oh my God. And Elijah would be in court-induced therapy. I'm just kidding. Not like court.
Lifetime.
Like, you know, but mandated therapy. Like, get your ass in there.
Yeah. Lifetime, run us our checks. We will not tell you again. We will be sending you emails. Get your schedule together.
For real.
This script runs a very tight ship, okay?
Yeah.
We really work super hard on this.
We do.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm so proud of us.
Me too. Oh, bestie, let's go.
Love you.
Me too. Love you. So, okay. So this is why I think that they would make a really great couple. It hurts me, but I think that Jasmine is going to say no. I think that she's going to feel like it's not enough. I think that she's going to say no. I think that she's hopefully going to kick herself down the line. I don't know.
Yeah, she probably will. That's what the medium said.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Michael will take 5 years to find another girl like her. I think Michael is going to get swooped up after this because he is a gem. He's just a gem. And I don't think it'll take him 5 years. Now
he's learned a bit more about what it means to be in a relationship and what he's responsible for to progress it forward. So yeah,
totally.
He's what we call, he's gone in through the relationship fine-tuning machine and he's going to come out as a more eligible partner for other people. And that is what happens sometimes.
Totally.
Like, we get into relationships and like, right person, wrong time. I don't know. Whatever you want to believe. I don't know. But like sometimes like it's the relationships that help us get out of it. And we realize, oh, okay, I appreciate that there were some things here that I didn't do right. I gotta get this right going forward, or this is what I'm not looking for. And then you find yourself in a more mature, more actually ready place to say, I'm ready to engage in something that feels healthy.
Yeah,
and you do that.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. That's life. I mean, we should be aiming to leave every relationship with those kind of thoughts. Like, but in the case of this, it is that. It's like you don't know what you don't know in the time. So it's like for Jasmina, she hasn't had a healthy relationship before. So she's interpreting this as a friendship because of this lack of spark, right? And it's like, but she doesn't know what she doesn't know. She doesn't realize how healthy this guy is and how good she has it right now, you know? So sometimes we have to learn lessons the hard way, as shitty as that may be. Yeah,
I'm with you. Okay.
All right.
Katina and O.
Lord have mercy.
Okay. Right off the bat, what I notice is that Olajuwon does not want to be with Katina.
No.
And I don't know if it's because of her timeline or if that's just what he's using as a scapegoat. He just doesn't want to be with her. He's ready to move on. That's very clear to me. He's not saying it. But what's really bothering me about that, Alex, is that he is telling her all of these like really affirming statements, right? Where he's like, Katina, you're basically, he's like, you're exceptional. I'm really lucky. Like, you're the greatest. It's, you know, I'm so proud of you. Like he's feeding her shit. I don't care if he believes it either. If you are certain, which he hasn't said, but if you don't think that you're going to be in this relationship and you're about to break up with this person in the next day, in the next 24 hours, please be careful with the statements that you make.
Yeah.
It's really
It's a mind fuck.
It's a mind fuck.
Yeah, it's, and I say that for anyone, like, breakups suck. And I think a lot of times people say things like, you're so great, you're so exceptional, you're so wonderful, it's not you, it's me. And they say these things, you know, to comfort them. But if you're the one being dumped and you're hearing someone say, like, you're such an amazing partner, you're so great, like, I'm so thankful, and like, but then it's like, then why am I not good? Why aren't you staying then? Then what's the disconnect there? If you're saying you see how valuable I am and you're saying how thankful that I'm your partner, then why won't you commit? What is that?
Yeah.
What's the missing piece? And that's what's so frustrating with Olajuwon is behind her back to everybody else, he'll explain easily, these are my issues with this relationship.
Yep.
This is why I don't think it's going to work for me. But then doesn't actually have a thorough conversation with Katina about his concerns. He hints at them, but again, there's never an actual conversation of like, this is what I would need if this is going to work. And that's what's icky to me, right? It's like, he goes to his buddy and he's like, I dealt with this with my ex, you know, she was in school and like, I don't want to be in school. I don't want to deal with that. Like, I want to travel. I want to live my life. It's like, well, then why didn't you have this conversation with Katina sooner? Because it's not like this last week you just discovered she was in school.
Also, I would have a whole lot more respect for Olajuwon I don't know if this is how the show works, but if he was just like, hey, like, I've been sitting with this since we started talking about the timeline, and like, for me, it's not going to work. Yeah. And I've been trying to allow that to roll around in my brain. And every time I come back to it, my stomach, my body, my heart is saying, this isn't what you saw for your life. And while I disagree with some of his reasonings, you know, if that's how you feel, own it. Let her know. Don't make her wait and go through agony of continuing to build on her feelings and sort of walk into decision day expecting that her husband's going to say, yeah, let's keep it rolling. Like, for real. I would respect him more if he was like, listen, Katina, I think I just got to call it here. Like, I'm not going to make you go through the whole fucking song and dance.
Yeah. And I think, because like, let me be clear here, because I don't want my statement that I made earlier on like, don't essentially praise someone when you're leaving them. I don't want that to be taken out of context, meaning to be mean to someone when you're breaking up with them either. But what I do mean is, in those situations, it's like, own why this isn't working for you. You know, like, I'm at a place where I feel this isn't working for me because of X, Y, Z, or whatever reason, right? And I feel guilty because I know how wonderful you are, but you deserve more than what I'm able to participate in. And leave it at that, right? Like, you don't need to be mean, but just be like, look, this isn't a fit. Here's why. So sorry for the pain that this has caused you. And that's it. But you don't need to go above and beyond by trying to be like, you know, saying all these things. And I think for Katina, it's really going to bust her heart open, wide open, because she's been working, like learning how to cook, really owning what she needs to work on, apologizing for her part in things. And I haven't seen the same growth and commitment from Olajuwon. So it's been like really painful to watch these last.
Well, because Olajuwon thinks that he's already grown.
Perfect.
I mean, and we have to like bring into the context that like when we met Olajuwon, he was like, I've done so much work on myself.
Right.
You know what? This is the issue, right? This is actually why this issue exists. I just figured it out. When we met him, he's like, I've done all of this work on myself. I like quit the partying. I got my life straight. I got my money in order. I got my house. I got my shit. And so for him, he's asking her to level up. So for him, he's not interested in hearing anyone tell him to level up because he's done all of the leveling up that he could imagine doing, which you may have established your credit, but baby boy, you have not figured out your emotional baggage.
I don't know how anyone can really truly believe that, because it's like, I've been doing inner work for many years now, and I'm like dedicated, like lifelong learner, grower over here, healer. Because like I said, even at the beginning of this episode, I just had a light bulb moment where I'm like, oh shoot, is my ridiculous amount of self-control a reflection of some kind? Is that connected to trauma? And it's like,
did we record that? I don't even think we were.
I think we did record it. I think that, this is on the episode. So it's like, guys, you literally witnessed me in my like whatever day-to-day life, and this shit happens.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like being able to have that amount of awareness where you get curious for a second. And Alonjuan doesn't have that, and he refuses to have that because of the mindset that he's in of like, I took 2 years off of dating and worked on myself. And it's like, buddy, 2 years is not going to reverse 30 years of conditioning and habits, dude. Like, you have got to stay the course. Yeah. That hit you?
In an email.
Did that gut you?
Yeah, because when it really puts into perspective, like, and we're not saying that you need to fucking like be in pain while you're on your like, healing journey. It's just there's always going to be more to learn about yourself. There's always going to be like, it's not 2 years. I'm done. All set. Like, no more. Don't ask anything else of me. Well, that's how you're going to keep yourself. Well, you're going to hurt a lot of people along the way. Because it's not even just about being single. He's going to make himself single because he's going to let people down. He's going to turn people away when everyone else is just trying to like work on themselves, I guess, to meet Olajuwon's demand. It's a power dynamic that he's found himself in. Oh, so man. Oh, man. Okay. So there was a conversation that was really challenging. Yeah. Where
oh, my God. I hated this. I hated this.
It was bad. I missed it the first time that I watched this episode because I had fallen asleep, which is the thing that I do at the end of every MAFS episode. But I watched it again last night and I saw it. So I'm really glad that I did because...
We can talk about it.
Because we can talk about it. Because he was like... really just keep falling asleep. He was like, how if we don't keep it moving, like I'm paraphrasing, I'm not getting all the quotes right, but I'm like, he's like, how are you going to feel? And she was like, oh, I'm going to be hurt. Like, it's going to be hard for me. Like, I can trust that I'll like be okay, but like, yeah, it's going to be hard. Like we've committed a lot. And she's like, how about you? How are you going to feel? And he's like, I'll be all right.
It was so bad. It was so disgusting to me.
I feel like he showed himself, and I actually feel like Katina got it.
Yeah, I do too, because she's crying in the confessional, like losing it in the next shot. So he asks her, how would it affect you if we got divorced? And when she asked it back, I have a quote. It's part of the process. This is the chance we'd take. I'd be bothered if it didn't work, but I'd overcome it and be okay again. I feel like because you're female, you're more like, oh, that really, like, I got pissed. I was like, that's sexist. You're saying because she's a female, she's emotional or more attached than you are. That's really messed up. Yeah. That's so messed up. Yeah. And then he goes on to say, I'd be sad, really but wrong. I don't know. It's really wrong. It's really wrong. Really wrong. There are a lot of emotional men, and that's a beautiful thing, by the way. Like, people have emotions. People have emotions. Yeah. Doesn't matter what's between your legs, people. And then he goes on to say, I'd be sad, but I don't know the level of where I'd be at because it hasn't happened yet. Which I was like, okay, weird to say that. Like,
weird. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So... yeah, I really feel for Katina. And like I said, she was seen crying in that next shot because I'm with you. I think she kind of was like, oh my God. And then he goes on to say, as if he couldn't say any more, he just had to keep talking. And he's like, do what's best for you. Be selfish when you make a decision. I have to do what's best for Olajuwon. So my next thing after that note is he's dumping her.
He's dumping her. If I heard that, I'm always listening for when someone's about to dump me. But when I heard that, I was like... I was like...
okay.
Dude. Yeah, right. Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, that would be the moment where I'd like voice up my friends and be like, I think this is it.
Over.
Listen, I can smell a dump in the absence of even talking. I'm like, it's been 48 hours since I've heard from this person. They left me unread. They're dumping me. So, Olajuwon, you're not slick. And I don't think that he's trying to be either. Like, that sort of, that phrase that, like, I'm going to do what's best for Olajuwon. I suggest that you do the same. Which, again, weird. It's a callback to the thing that he said in a confessional the week prior, which is like, if I were Katina, I would make this choice to zero in, all in on my education and not be in a relationship at all. Like, homie, that's not even the thing that she's debating. She's like, I'm doing everything. What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and it's like, not your decision to make, so you can't put that on her.
Exactly. So he's
So
going to
annoying.
dump her.
Yeah, he is. All right. That's it.
We did it, MAFS.
We did it.
Okay, next week, we're going to talk about Ultimatum, but just to wrap up our MAFS sitch, we'll give you the updates on Decision Day. We'll wrap it up. If there's interesting takeaways, we'll make space for that. But otherwise, we're going to carry on with our fucking Ultimatum journey.
Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. Ultimatum journey.
I'm excited.
Me too. Let's go.
Let's do it. So, first impressions. What did you think?
Okay, well, first of all, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I thought this was a show where, like, these couples came on and it was like, yeah, they've been together, so now they have to decide, are they going to stay together or break up, like get married or break
you didn't
up.
Know they were going to date each other.
I didn't know they were going to date other people and spend 3 weeks with other people and then 3 weeks with their original person. And, oh, my God, that throws a wrench into some things. So I was a little shocked. I was also like, this is ridiculous. I feel bad for the people on any of these reality TV shows. They all need therapy afterwards, all of them. Get it.
Yeah.
Do it. Because this is such a not okay thing and painful to watch your partner of 2+ years in front of you be flirting and talking and going home with someone else. Not fun at all.
Listen, slide into her DMs. She's open for business. Like, she will take you.
And then,
if you're the right client.
What doesn't make sense to me, and I can't wait to see how this show ends, is if I'm that person and I'm now watching you go on dates with someone else and then you decide you want to be with me, now I'm going to be like, well, what did you do with that other person? How far did it go? How, like how
Trust
emotionally, yeah, I would want to know. And then you also see them talking crap about their partner on the show too. So it's like, ooh.
You're going to watch the show.
So my point is this. I don't see how any of these couples actually work out in the end, because even if they decide to stay together, they're going to watch this back and be like, you talked crap about me. Like, let's talk about it. And I don't trust them to fully navigate that well.
But you know what? At the same time, yes, I also agree. People will stay in a relationship for a lot less. Like, they'll accept what they think that they deserve, but it will build into resentment.
Oh my God, absolutely. And a lot of passive aggressive behavior. Oh my God.
Yeah. So we get to know the couples. We also get to know like who set the ultimatum and why. And I was sort of expecting like the same thing for everyone. It's like, I really want to have a family. Like, I want to do this now. But it seemed, I don't know, there was a whole spectrum of things that came up.
Yep. We'll start from the top. So, like, Alexis and Hunter are the first couple we meet. Alexis literally is like, I want what I want, and that's a ring. And as we get to know this couple, Hunter is a very chill dude, like, very quiet, kind of keeps to himself. Like, he's not the life of the party.
We literally never heard from him after that.
Not really. Yeah, I learned he liked sci-fi books eventually later on, but that was it. But he does towards the, like, when they're starting to separate, he mentions like he wants to move in with her. But she wants a ring first. So again, I'm just like, with this couple, I don't think it's fair for either of them to say like, this needs to happen first before I take this next step. What needs to happen is, what is the need behind what this represents for you? You know, like, she wants a ring. What does that need? You want to feel like I'm your only person and I'm committed to you. Like, okay, what are other ways we can make that happen? Like, what is the compromise? You know, because if any of this is going to work out, they're going to need to go down that road. But I don't feel like Alexis is fully open to compromising or having that kind of conversation. I think a lot of women can struggle with this, where they're so obsessed with the ring and the party and all of that that they forget, like, it's not about that. The proposal lasts about 1 minute to 2 minutes. Take it from me, been there, done that. And it's like, it's like a blip in your life. And then,
yeah, you can blink and you can miss it. Yeah.
And then the wedding, kind of the same thing. It's like 4 hours of like the time of your life. And then you're kind of like, all right, now what? So forget about all of that and just pick a person that you actually love and want to spend your time with. Like someone you look forward to seeing at the end of your day.
Yeah. It's the marriage, not the wedding.
Yeah. So that's the first couple. I mean, but that applies to all of these folks.
Well, it's interesting because I think that there's a big pattern of women on the show and outside of the show of like, wedding equals life milestone. Mm-hmm. Life milestone equals accomplishment. Accomplishment equals like I can feel relaxed in that I feel good about where I'm going and where my life is going. And I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I haven't been married. I haven't been divorced. But what I will tell you is that if you are gunning for the life milestones to feel a sense of ease with your life trajectory, what happens when you've worked towards the goals and didn't totally take stock in who you were doing those goals with?
And I can speak to all of those counts on on personal level because I have been married and divorced, and I don't know if even our audience knows that. I feel like we've talked about it briefly.
Yeah, we talked about
I don't know.
We talked about it.
Okay, good. So, shocker for those of you who are new to the show, but yeah, just let me drop that bomb on you.
Yeah, drop that bomb.
But yeah, I'll be very honest because I really am an open book. For me, I got married so young to escape my family and feel like an adult.
Yeah.
Like I really was hungry to be seen. I was like, respect me, treat me like an adult, treat me like an individual, treat me like a woman. And because of that, so like very potent desire, it wasn't conscious like that. It was just like, this is the next step I need to make to get there. All subconsciously, but that's what I felt that getting married means I was finally a real adult,
Yeah.
So
you were going to demand
that.
Respect now, which you weren't getting. You were treated like a child.
I was treated like a child.
But
I guess
also
like
not.
getting married did not solve that within my family. So I don't understand how that, like what Alex was thinking at that point in her life. She wasn't.
I understand it. It just, if it worked, it would have worked.
And it didn't. So, yeah. And so, for me, I kind of wonder if that's you, if you're at a point in your life where you are craving a marriage and you are so focused on like, I need to get the ring, I need to have the party, I encourage you to sit with that and reflect, because let me tell you, girl to girl or girl to guy, however you identify, but if you have that crave, I just want to say, pause. Look inward and be very honest with yourself about why that is, because a marriage is not going to make your life better. A partner that you actually adore and enjoy spending time with will. And those are two very different things. Those are two very different things. I think a lot of times also people think getting married or having a baby will solve their problems and solidify their relationship more. Also not true. If you don't feel secure in your relationship now, there is nothing a ring or a piece of paper from the government saying you're officially married that is going to make you more secure.
Totally.
Nope.
I want to give another disclaimer on this show. I mean, obviously, cheekily, it's called The Ultimatum. The Ultimatum. The Ultimatum. And the whole bit is that people are saying, we're either doing this and we're committing or we're breaking up. I think that we need to say, even though we shouldn't have to, ultimatums are never appropriate and they're never really successful. They're never going to get you to the result that you want. Breeding ground for resentment, which will show up in your relationship much later. It will be used as a weapon, and it's just never good. Like, now that's very different than having a conversation with someone to be like, I really want to have a life with you where we get married and get kids, where it seems like you're not at that stage. What for you do you need to feel sure about? What do you feel like you're missing? What do you feel like you still need to see from me to be able to make that call? One of these couples sort of had that conversation. Anyway, we'll get there. So
we'll get there.
Last thing I want to say about Hunter and Alexis is that she makes a pretty powerful statement when she's now starting to be introduced to some of the other guys when they're like dating each other, which is, yes, very weird. She's like, marriage is a financial decision, not an emotional one.
Ooh.
And and it's sort of, there were feelings about this. One, like, that it's, listen, I don't think that's, your partner would need to be on the same page about that as you. And also, like, I didn't falter for it. If that's your truth, own your fucking truth, which she is. I just think that you can't steamroll a person to make a choice for you just because it's the best financial choice in your life. Sort of similar to what you were talking about, which is like, she doesn't seem like someone who's looking to compromise on much. She doesn't. She's sort of self-acknowledged, type A, goal-driven. This is the idea that I have for my life. This is what I'm going to get. Like, you're either on board or you're not.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, go girl. Like, but then the other part of me is like, you're going to be lonely.
And find a guy that is okay just dishing out money for you, because that's what your goal is. So it's like, go find a sugar daddy. You know, these guys aren't sugar daddies. They're there very much openly saying like, I want a partnership. I want a connection. I want love. So I'm with you. And she very much steamrolled Colby with that. And he was like, that is not the girl for me. And whoever ends up with her, good luck. And I thought that was kind of hilarious, because I'm like, oh my God, dude, I feel that statement. I get it.
Even her own boyfriend said, if I met the perfect person, I'd be engaged tomorrow. So.
Because he's ready.
No. The, Hunter, Alexis's boyfriend, who doesn't want to propose to her yet. He's not ready to propose to her yet. He's like interested in dating other people because he's like, if I met the right person, like, you know, I'd be doing it. To me, I was like, you guys should split up.
Yeah, exactly. Because, so that's what I mean, is like, he's ready. Like, he's ready for the commitment,
I see.
But it's the wrong person. Like, that's the thing. It's like the reason he's fiddling and like trying to not, you know, and he's very much stuck on I want to move in with you first. And I don't blame him for that. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're not getting married because of the commitment, like this commitment scare. You're not getting married because you don't really like her for who she is.
Yeah.
Like, if you can make a statement like that, then that means you're not with the right person.
Yep.
At least that's how I interpret it.
That's how I feel. Okay.
Then we have Madeline and Colby, and I really like Colby. I think he's a cool dude.
Yeah, I really like Colby too.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear. So Colby set the ultimatum for his girlfriend Madeline, who he said that he's known that she is the person that he wants to be with since he met her. She's clearly very iffy. It seems like she's been in relationships since she was a teenager. She's really ready to date other people. She's clearly annoyed by her boyfriend. She shouldn't be with him anymore. She's annoyed by him. He has effectively given her the ick. And the only reason why I know that is because she starts dating other people. Immediately she zeroes in on someone else that she's interested in. And she's like, she's talking so much shit. Like, you don't want to be there.
She's like, he puts on a show and this and that. And I'm just like, oh my God.
I think a number of these couples maybe would serve each other better if they opened themselves up to the opportunity to be polyamorous and have like a consensual, non-monogamous relationship. Like, totally. Maybe some of the tension that she would feel towards Colby, the things that annoy her about him, would be relieved if she felt like she had some room to spread her wings a little bit, and then they could enjoy the pieces of the relationship that I bet she does enjoy, because clearly she's with him for some reason. I don't know. Maybe she's just with him because he's obsessed with her, and that feels good.
Yeah, could totally be that. She could just be soaking that up. Yeah. But I'm with you. She's not about it. The fact that she keeps asking, like, could I be happier with someone else? Is the grass greener? She keeps saying these things. And then she also says, like, I don't want to lose him. But then she doesn't want to marry him either. So it's very, like, unhealthy, because to me, like, a toxic relationship is like, I can't treat you right. I'm not taking action to treat you right, but I also don't want to let you go either. That's really not healthy, because it's like, if you're going to not make the effort to treat someone right, you need to let them go.
Yes.
There shouldn't be, And
it's
so
selfish.
I feel like that's
what's
going on with them.
It's
so selfish. And so I feel like that's what she's doing with him. And I think Colby has a rude awakening coming, because he is really hoping that she's going to date around and realize, she didn't know, like, he's hoping she realizes she didn't know what she had. But I very much think it's going to solidify the fact that she just I feel like she's an avoidant, just based off of some, like, avoidantly attached. I think she's just going to peace out.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. I agree. I think that, like, it's not going to go the way that he thinks. But at the same time, I think that he's going to get a bit of attention himself, so maybe it won't turn out too badly.
He already is.
Yeah, he's getting a couple girls. Oh, I want to talk about that a little bit. So since we are already introduced these two people, Alexis is finding herself interested in Colby. Colby immediately was like, not the girl for me. She told him that she was interested in him, and he immediately shut it down, or at least it was carefully edited to look like he immediately shut her down. But it was the same conversation. He was very clear with her. He was like, I don't feel that connection with you. I don't see a future with you.
Don't see a future.
I'm really flattered, but also no. I thought that he handled it like a total responsible adult.
Yeah.
And she was really upset. Now, granted, rejection is hard. And Alexis seems like a girl who isn't often told no towards a thing that she wants, which that's your bag, baby. Like, do you?
Tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah. And so I think that, I think we have to be aware about this of ourselves. Like, first of all, ladies, let's get better at taking rejection. Let's get better.
Yeah.
We don't historically have much practice with it. Men have experienced a lot more rejection than we typically do. So they have a pretty thick skin, if you will. They're almost expecting it. Granted, they're not always great about the rejection. Sometimes they turn into absolute monster idiot assholes.
And sometimes so do women.
and a lot of times, we get really ugly. We can get really ugly about it, where we're just I don't know. I think let's turn inwards.
Yeah, she had some nasty words to say, and I wrote down a quote that I was like, ooh, girl, that says so much about you. When he shoots her down, her confessional, clearly she got disappointed. The look on her face was 180, icky came out. And then she says in her confessional, you rejected me as if that's even an option, which I thought was so nasty, controlling, and dismissive of him as a person.
Because
it is an option, Alexis. It's always an option for you to be rejected, just as it's an option for you to be chosen. So
yeah.
Maybe you should look inward, and instead of being so mad that Colby's not about it, you could say okay, what's the feedback? Or what's it about? Is it, we just don't, you're not attracted to me? Is it there's something about my vibe? Is it, just curious? Because if you're aiming to grow, that would be what I would, especially in this setting where it's you just met, there's no stakes yet, No. What's more at stake is Hunter realizing that he's dating a mean person and, wants out. Yeah. So since you're over that and you're already into Colby, maybe you should just ask.
Yeah, totally. That's interesting. But that would have to require a little bit of
maturity.
Yeah, a little bit of insight. I think one other thing I want to mention about this is that if you're rejected by someone, you don't need to turn it around like that. You don't need to
no.
Actually, this is what I was going to say. When someone is nice to you and then they reject you, they didn't lie to your face. It's she was that was all lip service. That was all bullshit.
Oh my God.
No, he was being
I didn't
polite.
like that.
He was being polite. He wasn't asking.
Did he tell you Alexis, I'm so into you? Oh my God, you're so attractive. You're such my type. Did he say that and then reject you? Mm-mm.
No, he didn't. Anyway, okie doke. We have Shanique and Randall. I have to remember what their faces looked like.
Yeah.
I remember.
This is the couple that had the conversation. At least in my opinion. So I'm interested to know if this is who you are alluding to. Okay, great. Because they were talking about debt. He's I really want to get to a place where I can pay off my debt first before, so I can set up a financially successful future for us as a couple. So he says he isn't ready because of that. And he very openly and honest and maturely says, I don't feel she's ready for marriage because to her, marriage is a ring and a party. And I was ooh, great awareness around your partner, because he's not even judging her for that. He's just saying I know her and I know that this is what she's really excited about. And that's not the reason to get married. And then, you know, after their last night together in the morning, Shanique starts to like cry and freak out at the thought of losing him and them splitting up. But what I thought was really icky on Randall's part was the word. And again, I don't know Randall enough to say if this was something, you know, Alonjuan type lines that he would say, or if this was just crappy editing. But what we heard was him saying, you know, maybe this will propel us to a new level and maybe you'll come back realizing Randall was right and we don't need to rush. And I was like, ooh, I don't like you positioning yourself as the absolute truth in this dynamic either.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But so that's who I thought you were alluding to, because it sounded to me like he had a very clear answer for why he wasn't ready yet.
No, it wasn't. But you know what? I did notice that and I appreciated it because he wants to clear off his debt, but he also is worried about her spending habits. So there's clearly like more conversations to be had. And I think that like maybe Shanique would benefit from hearing a bit more about like how he feels, like the things that he's scared about. That's what it looks like.
Totally.
Like, why aren't you ready to make this commitment to me? Like, I'm curious about it because things in our relationship that I do enjoy seem really good. What are some of your barriers? And as the partner who's being asked that, I really challenge you to be honest, kind, but honest, to be like, you know, like we're going to have to save a lot of money for a kid. And I guess I'm worried about our finances. Like I see the way that you spend and I'm just wondering if you have, and I like, do you think that any of that is going to change? Because I don't know if my income's going to change. Things like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's them.
Yep, that's them.
I don't really have anything else to say.
No, me neither. April and Jake. So April is with Jake. Jake was in the military for a little while. Also, like, they're babies. Everyone's so young. April really wants to get married. She feels like she's been really patient while waiting him for a while. He's in the service. He got out. She really wants him to commit to her. He said something that I don't know if it was just the editing, but it didn't make any sense to me. He's like, I love you. I love everything about you. You're my best friend. You're my person. I want you in my life forever. She's clearly really emotional. And then she's like, I want to date people so that I can get some perspective to make sure that you have everything that you need. What? I didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really weird. It was so weird.
It felt a little manipulative.
Yeah, I'm not getting the best vibes. Like, because again, going back to what we said is like, don't tell someone how much you love them and how wonderful they are and how much they're your best friend and then be like, but I don't want to commit to you, but you're not the person for me, but I'm going to date other people. It's like, if there's a but that's going to come out of your mouth after you just praise somebody, then don't say it.
And also not followed by a why?
Yeah. Yeah. Or say, you know, I really enjoyed our time together and at this point I don't feel like it's the right fit for me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like, be really careful with, because I feel for Alexis in this part because she's over there in tears saying like, you bought me a car. You told the dealership this was my mom car. Like, which, you know, that is a huge investment to make in someone. Huge. Buying a car for somebody, are you kidding me? That's crazy. Like, meaning financially, that's a huge commitment. And so I can understand why Alexis is like, the actions you're taking make me feel like we're going this way. And yet, anytime we talk about marriage, I get this weird situation, this weird response. So I feel for her because that's really hard to be with someone who actions are saying one thing and then, but also they're mismatched with words and other things. It's just weird, you know?
I also want some of these couples to just like fucking relax a little. Like, a lot of them have been dating for like a year and a half, you know.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
Right?
Like, I don't feel like you really know someone even until like a year into your relationship. I really don't.
And they're young. Like, people tend to get engaged and married a bit more quickly when you're dating when you're a little bit older because you're like, we're kicking this into gear. Also,
you're older.
You know yourself a little bit more and you like, there's, not that there's less interpersonal growing. There's just like, it's growing, hopefully.
I think there's less bullshit.
Yeah, less bullshit. It's growing in a pretty intentional way. You're like, we hope.
Yeah. Because I have, like, I know I've alluded to with pseudo parents, but like they have a friend who's 72, you know, fourth divorce and is playing the field right now. So it's like, does it really get better with age? We can't definitively say that, But, you know, assuming that the people you're dating are healthy, conscious people who believe in personal growth, it does, you know, because when you're 20 and you're 25, you're out screwing around. You're just, by the way, your brain isn't even fully formed till you're 25. So going back to my story of being divorced, like 20-year-old Alex wasn't even able to make great decisions because her brain wasn't fully operable yet. So it's like, why are we rushing these? Like, can we please normalize getting married in our 30s?
Yeah.
Okay, please?
Yeah.
Like, there's no rush.
That's what I'm saying.
No
like,
rush.
I wonder if a couple like April and Jake, where there's like all of this other like signs of commitment and clearly messages of commitment, where it's like, is it that he's just not ready to do it right now? Like, is he going to do it later?
Right.
I mean, maybe in the position of April, it's hard to know if that's like breadcrumbing or not. But I just, people need time to be able to make some of these decisions because sometimes it's just too soon. You just want, and for him, Jake says, you know, I want time to travel. Like my life was on hold. Oh, it's tough. I sort of see both sides. He's like, my life was on hold, so I really want to travel now that I'm out. And she's like, well, my life was on hold while you were in the military. So.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, again, I don't blame, by the way, my ex-spouse, Marine. So I get it. Okay. Like do I get it to the extent that this exact couple does? No, I can't say that. But when it comes to putting your life on hold to make space for someone else's career or, and also someone dedicating their, you know, being of service to the country and what that does to a person and the amount of self-sacrifice they have to go through to wear the uniform, be up at the crack of dawn, you know, and do what they deal with, like, ugh. I don't blame Jake at all for being out for only a year. I would encourage, if April was a client of mine, I'd be like, can we have some compassion around that? Because it's been years of other people controlling his life. This guy's just looking for some freedom. He's looking for himself. Like, give that to him, you know? So I'm with you. Like, I see both sides. What I don't think is okay is what happens with Jake later in the episode with someone we haven't introduced yet. So we're gonna get back to that in a second.
Yep. And I have a lot to talk about that couple.
Yep. Me too.
Okay. Lauren and Nate. So this is a pretty unique situation. It's another situation where the boyfriend of this couple has brought his girlfriend for the ultimatum. It's his ultimatum. He wants kids. He wants to get married. They've been together. They're one of the couples that have been together the longest. I don't know if that matters, but to me, it was significant. It's like 2.5 years. She doesn't want kids. What we learn about Lauren later is that she's never really felt maternal instincts. She feels kind of awkward around kids. Like, it's just not a thing that she's ever been passionate about. And that is valid. And I was really cool that she was talking about it. Then we also learned that I think there's this other barrier to her wanting to have kids specifically with her partner, Nate, because he works a lot. He wouldn't be home a lot. So she's like, not only do I not really want to have kids, if I'm going to have kids, I'm going to be doing this shit alone a lot. And I think that I'm not super excited about that. If that were me, she'd said something earlier in a conversation she had with him where she was like, you know, I want you to be able to find a person that's going to be able to give you the things that you want. That is appropriate. That's appropriate. Yep. So I don't know why they're still together. But like for me, I'm like, it's not the right relationship for either of you.
Agreed. Completely agreed. Their first conversation, like at dinner that night, I was like screaming at the TV this morning because I'm like, this is so circular and silly because she keeps, guys, if you don't watch our YouTube channel, I have a hoodie on today. I'm in my comfy clothes and I just like the hoodie strap. I just like whipped it into my face. Anyway, she keeps making these statements of like, I don't believe in sacrifice. I believe in compromise. And his response to that was like, so do we have half a child? Like, you can't do that with babies. You can't have half a human. That's the compromise. And I'm so with him because it's like, you keep saying you don't want him to sacrifice and you don't want him to see not having kids as a sacrifice, but you can't force him to see his needs or his desires that he's letting go of is not a sacrifice. That's you trying to control him. Yeah. So not a factor. I'm completely with you. They should just break up. There's no reason for them to be together at all if this is how strongly they feel about children.
This happens all the time. I have to shed light on
I'm
this.
so over it.
Me too. There are people who could be really great together, that have a really great bond, a really good connection, really love one another. And if you want different things, it is not going to make sense to stay together. And I understand that uncoupling is really difficult to do. But the fact is that like both people should be able to have the things that they feel really strongly about wanting or not wanting in their life. So
yeah,
sometimes the sacrifice, if we want to talk about sacrifices, the sacrifice is sacrificing a good relationship, a good bond, a good connection, so that everyone can go on their individual journeys and go have those babies or never fucking talk to another baby again.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. So that's Lauren and Nate.
Yeah. Well, really quickly, Lauren has a conversation with Colby, and Colby's feeling her.
Oh, yeah.
This was weird because, first of all, Colby does a thing that I think that people in general have to stop doing, which is hearing women talk about not wanting to have kids and being like, is this something that you're going to overcome? Yeah, exactly. Is this something that you're going to get over? Is this something, do you just need the right guy? Do you need the right dick? Do you need the right circumstances?
Hate that. I hated this. He lost points for me here because
me too.
And it's manipulating her because Lauren then completely forgets, like, I don't have a maternal instinct and it's not something I've really, ever. And now she's like, you know what? You're right. Yeah. You're right. I think if I had the right partner who didn't have a business and wasn't working, I could have kids.
Exactly.
Like, bitch, what? You just told Nate. Why are you having that conversation with Nate, your partner? And I do love you. It's just you're so busy. I'm concerned.
Exactly. Thank you. And like the problem with the problem with this situation that we saw with Lauren and Colby is not just that, although that was really bad. Because when you are someone, the two of you are attracted to each other, and you're like, you're basically filling her with this idea, this support. It's coming through as support of like, you should be able to have what you want. Like, yes, have a relationship where your husband is available more and you can really co-parent. Things are rosy. Actually, I sort of got what his actual girlfriend is talking about. He's too excited. Things are too positive. Everything seems too possible. I kind of get this now. Because he's like, you can like get what you want. Like have the baby, but like have it with the kind of support that you want. And she's like, oh my God, is this going to be that person that helps me do that? And then what happens when we get 3 weeks down and he's like, nah, fuck you, Lauren. I'm going back to Maddie or Madeline or whatever. Like like you're not doing her any favors by bullshitting so that you can
positioning yourself that way.
Exactly.
I feel that this to me, because I said earlier, like, this is where he lost points with me. I feel this is a version of love bombing.
Agreed.
I feel this is a version, and under love bombing in my mind is future faking, which is creating this picture, envisioning this reality, quote unquote, that could happen if you guys were together. And I very much feel that he took Lauren down that road. I'm not saying and again, love bombing can be used very maliciously, but love bombing could be this eagerness to establish connection with Colby. Again, don't know him well enough to figure out what lane he's in, but I am with you on the fact that he's sitting here, one, instead of just accepting her for being like, I don't really want kids, and him being like, okay, cool. Like, when did you figure that out? What was the day that you had that realization? And getting curious about it that way, he's trying to bring her into his world and is planting these seeds of this is what could be possible if you were with me. Yeah. So chew on that. And I don't like it.
Yes. All of that. All of it. I want to add another. I can't add a single fucking thing. Nope. It's a problem. Okay.
To be continued.
Last couple. Ray and Zay.
Zay and Ray.
Zay and Ray. Ray and Zay, baby. First of all, Zay can get it. Zay can get it. Big time.
Oh, man. At first I wasn't feeling him. I was like, he's not super articulate. And then after Ray did what she did, which we'll talk about in a second, I was like, okay, Zay, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He's interesting because he sort of notes that this is his first relationship. And their whole thing is like Ray's like, I just finished school, like things are moving in my career. I'm with this partner. I want to get married. I want to have kids. That's my trajectory. And she's like, I'm with someone that I can do that with. He loves me. I am wifey material. It's like, it's really all about like her and the role that she believes that she can really fulfill. And for him, he's like, this girl changed me. Like, she helped me learn things about myself that I didn't know. She helped me learn how to be loved in a way that I didn't know how to be loved in this way before. I love you. This is why I love you. I actually want to be here. I want to do these things with you. I am actually not prepared to give you what you want because I'm realizing that I don't actually know how you feel about me. And I thought that was so fucking smart because he's dead on. Like,
yep.
Ray is like
a hot mess express.
She's trying to check off the box, and she can't even be vulnerable enough to say how she feels about him. What did you think about that moment where she was like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. What did you think about the moment where she was like, I see that you're the type of person I want to be with. And he's like, but can you tell me how you feel? Right. Can you tell me how you feel? Because I don't know how you feel. And she's like, what the fuck did she say? Oh, she was like, I can show you how I feel.
Yeah, overtell you. Yeah. I didn't like it. I think I'm out of everyone I've met so far on this show, she's the scariest to me because of this. I am trying to, and again, guys, full transparency, I haven't seen her enough to be able to like make an educated guess, but my eye is on her because I'm trying to figure out if she's a master manipulator.
She definitely uses, and she's definitely using sex to distract and avoid, right?
Zay.
Yeah.
And then she goes and plays this part with Jake, which we're going to talk about in a second.
Yeah.
But and here's why I think that, because also paired with what, Zay is sitting there like, I just want to know how you feel about me, right? Like, he's like dying for her to be like, I love you so much and da-da-da, which is weird because she's the one posturing this ultimatum. Mm-hmm. Which usually the one posturing the ultimatum is the one that's like, I want to feel loved and I don't feel right. So it doesn't make sense. It's like, it's not adding up to me.
She's trying to get to the marriage.
And then she's like, yeah, but then, so she tells Zay, like, I hope you realize I'm the one for you. Right. But then when she's with Jake, she's like, I don't know if I knew what I wanted coming into this. So there's a lack of consistency in what she's saying, depending on who she's saying it to. And then when the producers ask her in her little confessional intro thing, why do you feel that Zay's the one for you? Why do you want to marry him so bad? She literally said, can I skip that question? Yeah. Or is that the last question?
Yeah.
And that for me was like, what is going on? Like, if you don't want to marry this guy, then why are you the one saying marry me or break up?
Yeah.
That should be the easiest question for you to answer sitting in that chair right now, because if you so badly want the engagement, want to marry this guy, you should know why he's the one that you want to dedicate your life to.
Yeah. There was a moment that was telling to me. I paused it and looked at my mom and I was like, do you see that shit? That's a red flag.
Yeah, but I have a red flag emoji.
Yeah.
Look, me too.
Yeah, she's getting our collective awarded red flag of the week. Zay asks her, like, why can't you tell me why you feel? And she's like, I'm
great question,
I'm
Zay.
guarded. Yeah, it's a great question. I'm guarded. I want to protect myself. Now, that also read as bullshit to me.
Same.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. I don't think she really wants to be with him. I think she wants to be on the show. I really do.
Oh.
That's what I put in my notes, because when we see her with Jake, when we see her with Jake, right? So April's guy who's like, I want to date people and which he's also not making sense. Jake all of a sudden is like, I came here not wanting to get married to April, but, Ray checks every single box, so maybe I can change for the right person. And I'm like, whoa, how do you take this guy who's like, I just got out of the military a year ago and like, who's looking to come back into his own, before he gets married, and you somehow, make a way to have him be all about you so quickly, or at least consider being all about you so quickly in less than a day.
Yeah. A conversation.
That's crazy to me.
A conversation.
Yeah. So it's like, that's why I'm like, I'm trying to figure out if she's a master
Did you
manipulator,
notice if she was matching Jake a bit? Like,
you mean like mirroring body language and stuff?
Yeah. Or even like phrases, like sentiments, statements, things like that.
Yes, absolutely. Because he was like, he said two, and she's like, two's my number, so like things like that. But what I did notice Jake's body language at first, because he had same side arm as Ray was on, was up with the elbow out, and he was leaning away.
Yeah.
So you could watch Jake melt, because at first he was not comfortable. He's like, oh my God, a girl's approaching me and we're having a conversation, and I know that we're supposed to be on this date and I'm supposed to consider and then by the time they stopped talking about kids, he was straight up and down. He had closed the gap. So that's what I noticed body language wise. And then conversation wise, she was mirroring him and some of the things he was saying. She was like, oh my God, I want that too. Oh my God, I want that too. And so, yeah, I don't trust her. And so I'm again, guys, full transparency. I don't know her well enough to like make an educated guess. I'm just saying this is what I'm noticing, and I'm going to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. To the untrained eye, you see her connect with someone and they're like, wow, well, look at you. You happen to have all of these things in common. That's probably going to toss your cookie a little. Like, it's going to make things complicated. But if it's just hypothetically looked at through a lens of coercion and like being quite calculated, some things track.
Yeah. There's too many missing puzzle pieces that don't fit together. It's not tracking. So like, meaning like what she's saying to certain people, it's not cohesive.
Yeah.
Whereas like Colby's the same.
Yeah.
It's very consistent. Not saying Colby's a golden child, but like
Colby's a people pleaser. Let's just name that. But yeah.
So it's just interesting to me.
Yeah. We'll
have to see.
Do you have any other red flags other than Ray and everything?
Alexis being like, this as if that's an option, and I want a ring on this finger, like that kind of stuff that she's saying. Like, not a fan. It's very much all about her.
Yeah.
So that's
she's looking to
red flag.
date an ATM that like allows her to like carry them along for the ride. The thing that she liked the most about Hunter when they went on their first trip together was that he like basically didn't speak up, and she just like let them roll on.
She said that.
Yeah, honestly, Madeline would have been my red flag because she's just not like leaving a relationship that she desperately like should. But I really think that they should try talking about consensual non-monogamy. Like they should like put it on the table, give it a whirl. Might work for you guys. Could help you be together.
I don't think Colby's open to that, because he's like, I deserve to have a partner who sees my value and loves me. And I'm like, yeah, you do, bro.
So then it's not going to work. But maybe she should consider consensual non-monogamy with someone else. Because it could really work for her. She's clearly looking for more experiences. And I don't want to, she's sort of positioned as a little bit of like a budding villain. And I don't think it's fair to give her that if like she's trying to, like, she feels like she's been in a relationship for so many years. One, take a look at your own responsibility that you play in being in relationships like that, back to back to back, never taking any time for yourself. But go let your freak flag fly consensually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Real thing.
Green flag. My green flag is Zay and his insight into the fact that he needed, like, I really think, based on what we've gotten so far, which is absolutely fucking nothing, I think that Zay loves Ray and would actually probably fucking do anything for her, because she got it like that with him. but
Yeah.
he, because he can tell that she hasn't actually really been vulnerable and said how he feels, he's like, you know what, I'm not gonna give you that one thing that you really want. And I think that that's good on his part. So he needs to explore that. Actually, he should be on this show. Let's just say that.
For real. My green flag would go to Nate because, you know, it was such a small thing. But when Lauren's like, you know, I don't want you to sacrifice. I want us to compromise. And he's like, but this is something we really can't compromise on. So, like, I don't know what you're looking for. I really am proud of him for standing up for his desires and not letting, you know, someone that he's been in a relationship with who loves him and wants to have a life with him change his mind. You know, he's like, no, I've always wanted kids. I still want kids. Like, that's something that's true for me. And if we just don't want the same things, we don't want the same things, you know? So I applaud Nate for that.
Go Nate.
Green flags went to 2 guys.
I know. You know, actually,
look at that, ladies. Just proving that good men are out there.
Good men are out there. You know, we give a lot of green flags out to men in our show.
Good. I feel
Michelle
like
Young. Michelle Young got the most consistent green flags in our experience with women
as a woman. Yeah. I think that
we have work to do.
It would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, all genders have work to do, but yes, 100%. It's like I think that we hear from. Well, I don't know. I was going to say that the trope with women is you hear all men are trash, and the trope with men is you hear all women are crazy. And I mean, neither of those are true.
Not true.
And I think what's more important here is knowing, like we say every freaking week on this show, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, and making effort to actually just be the best version of you that you can be consistently. But please, can we put down the blanket statements, and can we just, people are people, and what you're looking for is someone who's aware of their stuff.
Yeah. And let's start with what we can control, which is being aware of our own stuff, and you'll get a lot further. Wow. What a beautiful wrap up moment. I'm really excited for us to continue to talk about the ultimatum.
Me too.
We're going to have another episode next week where we cover the second episode of the ultimatum and wrap up MAFS, hopefully, unless they change their schedule again to be continued. You really can't guarantee anything in this biz. We're learning. And then we might like batch some of the ultimatum episodes in our coverage, but sort of all in preparation of getting to Love Island UK this summer.
Yeah, so excited for Love Island coming up.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you like this episode, please go ahead and listen to my cough. Please go ahead and leave a rating or a review. We love the support. Go ahead and screenshot it, share it to the gram. Let us know you're listening. Make sure to tag us at Ditch the Script Pod. And if you're not following us on the gram or TikTok yet, please do. Our handle is at Ditch the Script Pod. And BT Dubs, if you want a free mini session or if you have a question to ask, head to our website, ditchthescriptpod.com, to apply for a free mini session on the show or to submit your question.
Yeah, you're getting really good at that. Like that whole bit. The whole bit.
Oh, thanks, girl.
Yeah, crushing.
You know, this is our 28th episode.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
You know, which is crazy. I feel like it's been so much more.
We've tried more than 28 times.
This is true. That's probably why. For our 1-year anniversary for our show, I should come to Florida and we should do that.
Like IRL
that
show,
would be perfect.
IRL show.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Love it.
Oh my God, we're gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay.
We love you.
All right, guys. Love you. Bye.
Bye.